Good morning, all you Delphi gurus out there. I'm Robert Davis back here with you, and this morning I'm going to do a quick tutorial just to show you the slight differences in designing a picture database with MySQL. We've done Absolute DB, and we've also done Microsoft SQL Server Express Edition, and this is the MySQL Community Edition and the MySQL Workbench. So let's look at the Workbench real quick just to get an idea of how the table is built. I'm using the MySQL test contacts, and then we'll click on this little wrench and we get to look at the table design. So we have a contact ID, which is an integer. It's the primary key. It can't be null. It has to be unique. And it's auto increment. So MySQL takes care of all that. These fields are just your typical varchars and different links. And the notes is a medium text in MySQL. And the picture, this is where there's a little bit of a difference, is a long blob. It can't be a standard blob. It has to be a long blob. I don't know why that is, but I experimented with it, and that's what worked. So I'm going to minimize this and go over to Delphi and open up our project. And see, we have everything laid out here. We'll look at the connection real quick. I use DevArt's Unidac connection. I'm licensed for those perpetually, and I really like them. And this is what you get in the connection ID. It's just that simple to fill out. So we're connected. We can disconnect and then go to unit table 1 and say active equals true, and that reconnects us. So what we want to look at here, well, let's just look how the application runs. This is a little busier. I took a little more time on building the application itself. And here we have all our fields, our picture field and our note field. I'll delete this for you, and we'll load up let's see, documents, market arrow, projects for my friend, and we'll put in a more current picture of me. There we go. So remember now, when you're dealing with graphics, you want to make the DB image on the form, this thing over here, you want to make that the size that your pictures are going to be. I have mine set to 264 by 264. That's a good size, 1-to-1 aspect ratio, and that's a good size for a little application like this, is dealing with contacts. And we the way we print these, you put a FRXDB data set on the form and connect it to unit table 1, and then you can double click on, drop the FRX report on the form, double click on that and go into the report designer. Here we go. And I want to show you this concatenation. This is how you write it. You put just plain text in single quotes, and then you have your concatenation operator, and then in angle brackets you put the field names. And here's more concatenation. It goes last name, first name, middle name. Okay. And we do the same thing with city, state, and zip here. That's how that's done. And then, of course, we have our picture field. Now, I don't know why the lines and indicators of the corners don't show up in this. I think it's something amiss in Fast Report Designer. But to set your picture field, you go to the data set, select the data set, and the field you want is picture in this case. And then also on height and width, you want to set it to the picture size in pixels. So you see it's 264 by 264. And then we have this notes field also. And what you want to make sure of here is you make that as wide as you want it. Don't overlap the picture though. Make it as wide as you want it, and then go down here to stretch mode, and you want it to be actual height. So it will get your whole notes field and paginate that way, etc., etc. And here we go, we'll look at the preview. And there we have it. And you see the pictures are nice and viewable. And this is my famous boy Picasso I drew in the hospital on my tablet PC with Photoshop and my stylus. I got a kick out of doing that. And some dear friends and family. I copped their pictures, so we'll close that. And then we can close this window, go back to the application. That's how we get our report set up. One thing I didn't show you on the report form is on the this master data set size here. You want to set stretched to false. So, but the other thing is, let's see if I can find it. Start new page. That's the important thing. You want start new page set to true. And that's how each record gets its own page in Fast Report. Okay, and let's close this. And let's look at the import-export components. This is the import component. All you have to do is set the data set to its the unit table 1, which is my table for my contacts. And then on the SM export wizard dialog, you have to set the data set, and you have to have a DB grid on the form because that's what it exports from. So I'll show you my little trick. It's rather simple. Let me see if I can grab this here. I just put a grid over here in the hidden part, and it's the same grid as this table here that's all encapsulated there. And then I just hide that part of the application. This is always touchy. Okay. And then here we go. We'll run it. See what we get. Oh, there's an error. Oh, I already have it running, I suppose. Which is a no-no for whatever reason. Okay, and we'll run it. Yeah, that was the problem. And I'll show you. Let's go to my sister's record here, and then print a report. List with pictures. And then we'll scroll the whole report. Dear friend of mine, Andrea. Another dear friend of mine, my sister. I don't know who these are. I got this off of Pexels.com. So, just a second. Oh, so we can close this, and you see the application takes us right back to Sharon's record, my sister. And that's because we have some code before we, let's go to main menu. Come on. Reports, list with pictures, double click. And see what we do is we establish a bookmark as a var in the procedure. And then we get the bookmark to the bookmark variable. We disable controls on unit table 1. We show the report. And after the report's done showing, we set enable controls on unit table 1. And then go to bookmark BM. And that takes us back to the record we're on. Without setting a bookmark, what happens is because this goes to the top of the database for whatever it's filtered for, or just its natural occurrence, and goes to the end, and then you end up on the last record in the database. But this saves your place, so it's simple as that. So I hope this illustrated. Let's look back real quick on the MySQL workbench, and we see this is a log blob. It can be blank, so that's no problem. And again, your ID is all taken care of by MySQL server. You don't have to do anything with that. I was going to show you, let's look at the import export functionality. Here's the import, and here's where you get to choose all your stuff. Say we're importing from an MS Access database. We'll go find the database. Let me see where to put that. Let's try documents. That's not it. Well, anyway, you've seen the import export before, and you can go all through this wizard and it will import these records. Make sure you select the import from file, which has to be the database type that you've selected, and then a table name in the database. We'll cancel this. We don't need to go through that again. And then we have the export, and you can select whatever export you want to create here. And I always include column names and blank F0. Tab delimited, that kind of thing. But you can go through all this. I've covered this before. And we'll just cancel that. That's all there is to it. It's that long blob is the little bit of variation in the MySQL database. Now, the reason I used the Unidac from DevArt is because it's such a simple and really Delphi style database access components, from the connection down to the smallest query, etc., etc. And that's why I use those. It's a paid version. I think we're talking about $150 for all kinds of data access components. And again, that's from DevArt. I'll put the link in the description. Again, I'm Robert Davis. I appreciate you spending this time with me. I've enjoyed doing this for you. And I hope you've gotten something out of it. And I'll see you in the next tutorial. Thanks. Bye.